What's up, everyone? We are about to kick off the 2023-2024 NBA season, which is starting in a few hours. So I thought I'd go ahead and throw my predictions on what I think this next NBA season is going to look like. Here are my predictions.
That's really nice. It's wrong, but it's really nice.
For the number overall seed in the Eastern Conference, I'm going to go with the Boston Celtics. The number 2 record, I'm going to go with the Milwaukee Bucks. The addition of Damian Lillard will keep them in the conversation. Number 3, I'm going to go with the Cleveland Cavaliers. They've shown a lot of improvement over the last few years. I think Evan Mobley is going to take another leap, and I'll be mentioning his name in a few minutes on another list. The New York Knicks. I think they are going to stay in that middle part of the pack with the 5th seed, the Philadelphia 76ers. With reigning MVP Joel Embiid, and even if they can still keep James Harden on the team, I see the Knicks and the Cavaliers will still be ahead of them in the Eastern Conference as things are getting very top-heavy. For the 6th seed, I'm actually going to go with the Miami Heat. I know they didn't get Damian Lillard over the summer like they were really hoping for, and a couple other trades haven't happened. I do still have a lot of faith in that organization. Eric Spoelstra is doing one of the best coaching jobs I've ever seen with keeping this talent and keeping these guys competitive. I do still have faith in Jimmy Butler can will this team into one of those spots that is not in the plan. For the 7th seed, this is where things are going to get a little interesting. I'm actually picking the Chicago Bulls. I'm expecting to see some actual improvement from Patrick Williams, and I do think Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan can stay healthy. They can actually improve to make the play-in tournament and actually get into the first round of the playoffs. For the 8th seed, I actually am looking at the Indiana Pacers. I think Tyrese Halliburton is one of the best young players in this league, and I already think he is in the top 10 point guard conversation for the point guards currently in the league right now. I love his game. I love everything I've seen from him. I do think the Pacers will squeak in and make that 8th seed. For the Eastern Conference Finals, I do think it is going to be the Boston Celtics versus the Milwaukee Bucks. I do think with the addition of Jrue Holiday to Boston, that will be what takes them over the top over his former team, the Milwaukee Bucks. I do think the Milwaukee Bucks will lose. Boston Celtics will be coming out of the Eastern Conference. Over to the Western Conference, I do think the number 1 seed will continue to be the Denver Nuggets. I think the fact that they have put it all together with being the reigning defending NBA champions, having another full season of prime Joker, Jamal Murray being healthy, and Michael Porter Jr. being healthy, I think they will continue their dominance over the Western Conference and continue to be that number 1 seed that we saw last year. Number 2 seed, I'm going to say the Phoenix Suns. I do think with all that talent they have with Devin Booker, the additions of Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal with their stellar bench, I do think that this team does cement themselves as one of the teams to be feared in the Western Conference, and they will hold that number 2 seed. Number 3 seed, the Los Angeles Lakers. I do think if Anthony Davis can stay healthy and play at least 60 to 65 games, with LeBron playing at least that many also, AD taking some of the stress off of LeBron so he doesn't have to play a full 82-game season and play 38 to 40 minutes a night, I think that will help them with the additions that they made this offseason, having a really, really deep bench this time. I think that they will be able to stay in that conversation in the Western Conference. The 4th seed, Golden State Warriors. The addition of Chris Paul, I think, whether he's in the starting lineup or comes off the bench as the 6th man and holds down the 2nd unit or some type of hybrid role, I think having somebody that has the years of experience that he has being a top 10 NBA point guard, I think that will help them, and that will help getting the ball out of Draymond and Steph's hands and let him also be able to create. Having Steph be mobile more than he normally is, I think can only help them and make them more dangerous, because you're going to have to throw 2 guys at Steph all the time. And the 5th seed, the Sacramento Kings. I know a lot of people were picking them. To take a fall after they kind of overachieved last year, knocking off a 18-year playoff drought and to make it into the second round. But I do think the Kings are still a young team that is learning. They have a great coach in Mike Brown, and I think he will keep them in conversation. See, looking at the Los Angeles Clippers, if they can keep PG and Kawhi healthy, if they can possibly even get James Harden. Hey, what's up everyone? Kayos from the future here. As the time it took me to upload and edit this video, it has been announced that James Harden has been traded to the Los Angeles Clippers, him along with PJ Tucker, another player, for a bunch of picks. I do think they do have enough talent around them to keep them from just out of the play-in spot. Ty Lue has done a great job with managing all the injuries they've had over the past couple of years and still keeping them competitive and still keeping them in the playoff hunt. Number 7, I think is going to be a team that comes out of the play-in, and I think that is going to be the New Orleans Pelicans. The biggest thing about the New Orleans Pelicans always is Zion Williamson's health. If Zion can stay healthy for a full season, I do not think that he's going to make such a big impact as some people saw from the small sample size we've seen in the last couple of years, but I do think him on that team does make them very formidable, and I do think that they will be the 7th seed. The 8th seed, Oklahoma City Thunder. Can't stack all these draft picks and all this young talent and not start to see some growth. I think that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is truly going to take that next step this season. I think he is a star in the making, and I really think having Chet Holmgren on there with Josh Giddey and all the other young talent they have on there, I do think they are finally going to start to show that they are coming. Western Conference playoffs, I think the Western Conference Finals is going to be the Denver Nuggets versus the Phoenix Suns. And see if some trades happen during the season. I can possibly see the Golden State Warriors possibly matching up with the Nuggets. Either way, I do think the Denver Nuggets will come out ahead. There's just no guarding Joker when he's at his best. So, the NBA Finals, Denver Nuggets versus the Boston Celtics. I think the Boston Celtics make it number 18. I think Jason Tatum actually overcomes the shortfalls he's had in his NBA Finals and playoff career and puts it all together this year. The season awards, I'm going to start with Rookie of the Year. Victor Wembanyama is the overall favorite. My personal favorite, I would not mind seeing Scoot Henderson surprising everybody and being the upset, but I do think Victor Wembanyama, since he's already the overall favorite, I think it's a foregone conclusion. Victor Wembanyama is going to get that award without any injuries. I think he's going to get it. But I like Scoot. Defensive Player of the Year. I know a lot of people are looking at Triple J in Memphis to actually make a repeat. That's also why I didn't pick Memphis to make the playoffs. I think losing Ja Morant for that many games and also losing Dylan Brooks, who was an enforcer on that team, I do think that is going to make them take that fall back. But I actually think Evan Mobley will get Defensive Player of the Year. I think he's going to put it all together this year, and he is the person I think is going to take that next leap to be the best defender in the NBA. Sixth Man of the Year is probably the hardest award to look at because there's so many different guys. I'm going to throw a white horse out there. I'm going to say Chris Paul for Sixth Man of the Year. Coach of the Year, because they are going to get a 6th seed, I think Eric Spoelstra will get a Coach of the Year award. For everything he's done the last couple years, I think it's all going to come together this year for him to get this award, showing that he is the best coach in the NBA, dealing with talent, dealing with salary caps, dealing with super teams. I think he's going to get it done. MVP. This is probably the hardest one for me because there are a lot of guys that could get it. You could go back to back. with Joel Embiid. You could go 3 out of the last 4 with Joker. You could go Jason Tatum finally ascending and being that player that everybody thinks that he can be. You could have Giannis come back and cement him as being one of the greatest players of all time. This is probably the hardest one for me to do. To go Jason Tatum. I think this is the year he puts everything together and is the best player in the league and wins not just MVP, but finals MVP. But that's it. That is my predictions for the 2023-2024 NBA season. Oh, also for the mid-season tournament that just got announced, Golden State Warriors. They usually do well in a situation like that. So I think the Golden State Warriors will be the mid-season tournament champion. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Did I get any of these correct? Am I completely out of my mind with some of these picks? Who are your picks for these? And what surprise team do you think is going to take the next step? Let me know in the comments below. I've been Kayos. You've been awesome. Let's go NBA season. Very responsibly.